out. I don't know, it might be a little cold outside, but it looks nice from the inside anyhow. We'll give it another moment or two for people to join in. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Let's give it one more minute just to give everybody a chance to join in here. And thanks for joining this morning. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You can see by the background that I'm still at Mama's, and I will be at least for the weekend. Laura and Maverick are heading over this way this weekend, and hopefully Mama will be feeling better, and I can make my way home with my wife and son and my puppy. Thanks for joining this morning. Let's meditate. So if you haven't already done so, just getting in a nice comfortable position. Thank you so much for coming. I really am so grateful to have you join me for the meditation. I really am. I've said many times that I'm going to meditate anyhow, but it's always nice to have company. And for me, there really is this truth when two or more are gathered. And there's potency and there's power in that, and it doesn't matter if we're sitting next to each other or we're on opposite ends of the world. We're gathered in like minds, and so I'm truly grateful for that. So just taking in a nice deep breath. And just really letting go of everything going on in your life, all the stress, any heaviness at all. And the nice thing we talked about, pushing the reset button, is that the nice thing you can do that at any time and just let go of all the past and all the future. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to carry this any of this into the meditation or into life itself. And just allowing your hearts to open, allowing your mind to open. Allowing love in, allowing blessings in, allowing grace in, allowing healing energy in. And just allowing any and all support that is in alignment with life, alignment with God, alignment with the universe, whatever you want to call it. Just aligning with that which is for our greatest good. And what if you were absolutely perfect exactly the way you are? And I know the mind would say right off the bat, "What? You're kidding me. I'm mean sometimes. I say this or that, and all the bad things that I've done." The mind has plenty to say, but who's in charge? The mind or God? I'm going to use the word God, whatever word you want to use. The more I have let go of listening to the mind, I just find this freedom, this beauty, this perfection of everything that's here. And yes, I have plenty of moments where I'm not feeling that perfection, but even these pass away very quickly when we push the reset button, meaning we let go of all the past and we let go of our worries of the future, and we come back fully back to the present moment where we are not resisting life in one single way. So right now I invite you to let go of any and all resistance to life. Just let it go, at least for this meditation. If you want to pick up and fight life afterwards, please feel free to fight life all you want, but I'm just inviting you for this meditation to just let go of any of the fights, any of the struggles, any of that need or desire to have life be different than what it is. Eckhart Tolle once said, trying to fight against the darkness is like walking into a dark room and punching at the darkness, when all you need to do is turn on the light. So my invitation to you is to turn on the light. What is turning on the light? It means letting go of all the past, all your fears, all your judgments, all your blame and guilt and shame, so that you can just simply be here in this present moment. And I was told by Spirit once that when somebody fully awakens to the truth of who they are, you can't possibly imagine the impact it has on the world. And Muji once said, when you light one candle, you can use that candle to light another million lights. So I'm inviting you to let your candle be lit this morning. Just allow God to touch your heart, to touch the very core of your being, that this light, this beautiful light, begins to permeate and fill every single cell, every single atom of your body, and to fill you up and surround you, so that you can be the light that you truly are. And it doesn't take somebody special, or you don't have to earn your way to this. You don't have to read 100 books to find it. In fact, knowledge will never be your key to awakening. And the mind might push back on that some and say, what? Come on. Surely there's something, if I learned something, that I could fully awaken to the truth of who I am. But there's a song by CeeLo that says, I may be crazy, that song, I don't remember the name of it, but he talks about it's not because you didn't know enough, it's because you knew too much. Because the problem is that we don't know enough. The problem is that we think we know what the answer to life is. We think we know who we are. And it's that very thinking that, or that might be even a knowing, we think we know who we are, but it's still a thinking process. And it's that kind of belief where our cup is so full of what we think is the truth that it blocks us from experiencing the very truth of who we are. So right now, I'm inviting you to empty out your cup of knowledge. Empty out the cup that says, I know who I am. Everything that you believe, that you think who you are, I'm inviting you to let all of those stories go right now in this moment. Because the truth is, you are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough. And the only reason you don't recognize that is because of all the false beliefs that you've identified with as if it's the truth of who you are. God does not care one single iota of what your past is, what your future is. You are still connected and aligned with God. You cannot get rid of God no more than you can get rid of the truth of who you are. I also invite you to let go of any stories that say that you're not enough, that you are flawed or broken in some way. These are all false illusions. There's a beautiful book by Michael Singer, I think it might be on YouTube, that is called The Untethered Soul. And Michael Singer beautifully portrays how we listen to all the thoughts of the mind and we believe this, what he refers to, this bad roommate that's in your head, and all the things that the bad roommate is saying all the time. You're not enough, you should have done this, you should be more kinder, you should be more loving, more patient, da 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 da. And he goes on to say, if you had a roommate like that you were living with, surely you would kick that person out. I'm inviting you to kick out the roommate in your head, to stop listening to the craziness of the mind that is not your God, that is not in control, but has taken over your life. Some people might call this the devil, because all the crazy bad things that it tells us about who we are, and there's nothing wrong with it telling us this thing, only if we believe it to be true. And then it's going to drag us through the mud of life. So what is it? What does it mean to kick the voice out, the roommate in the head? It means that we become consciously aware of the thoughts, of the beliefs, of the feelings, and we don't buy into them or listen to them anymore. All that's necessary is to bring conscious awareness to them. Oh, okay. I see my mind is saying, I should have done this differently, and I handled that horribly. Can you simply notice that thought? Sometimes I share with you thoughts in my head so that you can better relate to the voice in your own head. And Mom lays here over by me right now listening to this meditation, and so I share this with, as her and I go through the struggles that she's going through together, although obviously I'm not experiencing the same pain as she is. But some of the thoughts in my head last night are, oh my God, I hope she's going to be okay. Can you simply notice that thought? Wow, I hope we didn't get COVID or something like that. Can you simply be aware of that thought? And it's just a thought. It is no more than the thought, and the thoughts originate from the mind that is all rooted in fear. It's all rooted in fear and is not the truth of who you are. And A Course in Miracles says there's only fear or love. Which one do you choose? So right now, I invite you to give over all your fears to God, to the universe, to life. I invite you to let go of and give all your blame or judgment over to God, who, by the way, will gladly take and receive all of it. Because God understands it's just energy, it's just thoughts, it's just beliefs. God understands it's not who God is, we have that same choice, that same option. I also invite you to let go of anything that you have judged yourself as doing bad or wrong in the world, and in this lifetime, in any lifetime. Any shame, any guilt, I'm inviting you right now. This is your opportunity to just give it all up. Let it all go. Every single piece of that. And again, if you want to pick it up afterwards, you can. But for right now, I'm inviting you just to let go of all of it. I also invite you to let go of anything that you're holding onto. Why do we do this? Because if you're holding on to something, it's keeping you locked in this world. And as there's a verse in the Bible that says, be in this world but not of it. So I said that a little wrong at the beginning, but that is the correct verse of the Bible. Be in this world but not of it. Meaning that we're living here, but we're beyond this world, because we are beyond the body, beyond the mind, because the mind and the body will someday die for everyone. What is that thing within you that will never die, will never pass away? That is your eternal truth, the formless, the non-physical truth of who you are. It has to be that way. Because otherwise, how could we recognize our life beyond this body? Otherwise, how could we carry on? What is the intelligence that goes beyond the physical form? Because our mind will not carry on. I had an incident one time that a friend of mine who's very intuitive said, you're about to have an experience that will change your life, and it's going to happen on this day at this event. And he was with me at the event, sitting next to me, and we went to see James Redfield, who wrote the Celestine Prophecy. And we had watched several different speakers that day. It was at a Body, Mind, Spirit festival. And as I was sitting there, James Redfield offered for us to just stand up and stretch, to just take a break because of all the sitting we were doing. I started to stand up and immediately got dizzy and had to sit right back down. And I rested my chin on my hands with my elbows on my legs, and I disappeared. My body completely disappeared, so that there was only this formless truth, this conscious awareness, which is who I am and is who you are. And everything went silent in the room. I couldn't hear anybody. All I was conscious and aware of was me, my empty, formless self. But I had the awareness, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Where did my body go? How am I still here? How am I still aware? How can I still think? And so in that space, it moved beyond anything that had anything to do with time. And I truly didn't know, did 1 minute go by? Or did 1 hour go by, or 1 day go by? I had no idea. Time didn't exist in that space. And so I thought, is it possible when I come out of this that I will be laying on the floor, because I don't know what's supporting my body right now. I can't feel my body. My body doesn't even exist to me right now. Will people be huddled around me saying, oh my God, what happened to him? So I then came back into my body, and I looked over to my friend and said, "Oh my God, what the hell just happened to me?" And he started laughing. He said, "You just got a beautiful piece of the puzzle. You've just been filled with the Holy Spirit." I share that story. That's a very personal story to me. But I share that with you to say that I don't just speak of the formless truth of who I am as a belief, but as an actual experience to know who I am. And that is the same truth that you are. So right now, I invite you to let go of all these stories, all these beliefs that would have you believe that you are anything physical whatsoever. You are far beyond anything physical, and that is beautiful. Because in the non-physical, that's when you hear that with God, all things are possible. And you are connected and aligned with that formless truth that is and has infinite possibilities. And quite often you hear me say, because I love this verse that Jesus said, and by the way, many teachers have said similar things, but you can do all things that I have done and even greater things. What? You're saying that I can raise the dead, heal the blind? I can walk on water? Yes. The only thing we are limited by is our beliefs. That's all. And that's why I invite you to let go of all the limited beliefs right now. Just empty out everything you think you know. Because I assure you, all of that gets in the way of truly knowing yourself. So I come back to the truth. There is not one single thing wrong with you. If you look at your personality, your ego, your small self, of course, we will find all kinds of things wrong with us. But the question is that the truth of who you are? Because all those beliefs, all those thoughts, the body, the mind, the feelings, the experiences, someday those will all fade away. What is it that never fades away within you? That can never be diminished? That has always been you and will always be you? That's what we're looking to. And we empty out all the things that block us from recognizing that truth. So I come back to inviting you to let go of anything you're holding on to, any physical thing, whether you're trying to hold on to money, or trying to hold on to a job, or trying to hold on to a loved one. It's effort that is not needed. Life and God give you what you need in each moment. Not because you're holding on to it. In fact, the holding on to it prevents you from experiencing more of the beauty, the truth, the love and peace and joy that you are, which is beyond any holding on to or beyond any trying or effort. And I also invite you to let go of holding on to your physical form. Because your physical form is supporting you, because that's what is needed in this moment. And it doesn't do any good to hold on to it. Nor does it do any good to hold on to life or God itself. Because you are life. And you are intimately and perfectly connected and aligned with our beloved Creator. So the more you can release and let go of holding on to anything, it helps you to connect and align and be the truth of who you are. Sometimes I feel compelled to tell you how much I love you and how much you are loved. And the small self needs to hear that. The true self is that. But it's helpful sometimes for the small self to know that it is loved, because it offers something to help us to let go and just melt into, surrender into the truth of who we are. So right now I invite you just to surrender into peace. Just let go and fully surrender into peace. And now I invite you just to fully surrender into love. Just surrendering into love. And now I invite you just to fully surrender into joy, or the bliss of God itself. And now I invite you to surrender into life itself. Surrender into life itself. So if you feel any resistance or any need, desire, or attachment for this moment, or you, or anyone else, or the world to be any different than they are, I invite you just to let all of that go. Completely, totally. And again, if you want to pick it up after the meditation, feel free to do so. But right now, I'm inviting you to empty out so much that the only thing left is the freedom, the liberation, the salvation, the awakening, and truth. Not even awakening, the awakened. Because you are awakened. It's only beliefs that stand in the way of that. And if your mind says, no, I'm not awakened, I'm awakening, then who is it that is aware of the one who is awakening? That is you. You are the one who is consciously aware of all your thoughts and beliefs, and even the one who says, I am not awakened. The one who is a witness to that thought, a witness to that belief, that is you. You are the one who is a witness to life itself. And lastly, I invite you to fully surrender into God or Jesus or whatever, if you have a go-to, whatever that higher source is for you, just fully surrendering into that. How wonderful and juicy and delicious it is to just fully surrender into the loving hands of God, the loving heart of God, which is who you are, one with that truth. So if you are holding on to anything at all, any heaviness at all, I invite you just to let that last little bit go. And if there's something you feel you can't let go of, I invite you just to simply suspend it and set it to the side for right now, for this meditation. Just set it to the side. That's okay. You can pick it up afterwards, but at least set it to the side for right now, that you may enter the temple of God, the temple of truth. the temple of I am. And now just becoming conscious and aware of your breath. This beautiful, wonderful breath that takes care of you over and over with ease, with effort. There's nothing you need to do. There's no trying or effort, which is the reason that the breath works so wonderful for meditation, because all we need to do is simply be a witness to it. All we need to do is observe it, to perceive it, to be consciously aware of it. And that is you. If you have a thought and you are aware of it, that's you, the one who's being aware of the thought. Oh, I'm noticing a certain discomfort in my body. Who is the one that is a witness to that pain? That's you. Oh, I feel so grateful. Who is the one that is aware of the feeling of gratitude? Oh, I don't like how that guy treated me at all. He's such a jerk. Who is the one that is aware of that thought, of that feeling? It has never mattered what thought you have, or even the feeling or belief that you have, unless you buy into it as if it's the truth of who you are. And now just coming back to being conscious and aware of your breath as we begin to segue into the silence. And of course, quite oftentimes when we do that, our mind wants to get chatty. It's okay. You don't need to try to control the mind. You don't need to try to control the thoughts, nor do you need to control the feelings. Just let the mind do what the mind wants to do. Oh, I hate that person. Can you simply be aware of that thought? Oh, I'm so bored with this meditation. Can you simply be aware of that thought? Oh, I hope I have this experience with the meditation. Can you simply notice that thought? It's never about trying to change the thought or fix it or correct it. It's simply being consciously aware of it, because it is not who you are. It is simply the mind being busy. And so now we return to being consciously aware of the breath. And so when the thought comes in, and as soon as you become aware of it, you don't need to follow it or analyze it. Just simply come back to the moment, which is being aware of your breath. And if your mind has drifted, just simply, effortlessly come back to being consciously aware of your breath. And again, if your mind has drifted, you don't need to worry about what the thought is, what the mind is saying. That's the mind, and the mind can be useful, but not as our leader, not as our master. Don't listen. You don't have to listen to the mind. It has a function, but it's not being in control of you. Are you ready to kick the roommate out of your head? And just simply come back to the present moment and be conscious and aware of your breath. And if your mind has drifted, once again, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to being aware of your breath, which is you, the one who is aware of your thoughts and of your breath and all of it. if your mind has drifted, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to being aware of your breath. So we're going to begin to bring this meditation to completion. If any of you would like to continue meditating, please mute or turn your device off. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are ready to finish, taking in a nice deep breath. It just brings oxygen back into this body, this form that helps you to get around in this life. And just wiggle your fingers, your toes, maybe do a little stretching to make sure you're fully back into the body. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And I'm just going to take a quick peek to see who's out there. And so Cheryl, I don't know if you're out there still. Thanks for joining, Cheryl. Glad you're able to join a little bit more lately. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning. Thanks for joining. And Sharon. Good morning, Sharon. Thank you. And I guess Michelle's not on here this morning. She's usually on here. So, all right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you so much. Have a beautiful day. Meditation at 10 o'clock tomorrow if you want to join. Okay? All right. Namaste, my friends.